Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernest Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. The big noon kickoff in Week 8 of college football is a big game in the Big Ten with the Penn State Nittany Lions traveling on the road to the Ohio State Buckeyes. And me and WillND, we preview and predict this monster Big Ten East matchup and whether we think that James Franklin can get his first win over the Ohio State Buckeyes since 2016 for the Penn State Nittany Lions, or whether we think that Ohio State will continue their dominance against the Nittany Lions and defeat them at home on the big noon kickoff game.
And we got the big game of the week, Penn State versus Ohio State.
Now, this is a big noon kickoff. This is a big game for both teams. It's a big game every year, but it does feel like that the stakes are higher for both of these teams than some previous years. Like, there's some years where Ohio State plays Penn State, and it's like, you know what? Ohio State should win by about 17. Penn State's good, but they're not better. Ohio State's favored by 4. And I don't know if that line's going to shift, but for the fact that they're at home versus Penn State and they're only favored by 4, that shows you how high the bettors are on Penn State. The thing, though, with Penn State is Drew Allar. He's played good at home for the most part, but when he's been on the road, he has struggled, particularly that Illinois game. And even against Northwestern, it's not like he put up crazy stats. They did end up winning that game handily. But I think that's the key. Can Drew Allar finally play a good game on the road? And can their run game get going? Because that's one thing for Penn State. I think with Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton, I feel like a lot of Nittany Lions fans thought that their run game was going to be elite this season, and it really hasn't been. I think part of it's been the O-line. Maybe their O-line hasn't developed as much as that, Nittany Lions fans were expecting. I think that's part of it because I still think Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton are good backs, but they're not running the football well enough against worse opponents to think that they're really going to run the ball well against Ohio State.
Same with Ohio State, hasn't been running the ball either, though. That's the thing.
And I was about to flip that across to say it's the same way. Ohio State, you've got a run game that's not great. And, Travion Henderson has been banged up still and just has not looked like his freshman self. Their other backs just really aren't getting it done as well. And then you look at Kyle McCord. He's played well. The 11 touchdowns, 2-1 pick is a good, touchdown to pick ratio. He's thrown for 1,600 yards. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is fantastic. I mean, he single-handedly can win most games for Ohio State. I think
not against Notre Dame, though. Not against Notre Dame. I'll say that.
For sure. But
I know we lost, but Kyle McCord didn't do much.
That was
the first
big road game for Kyle McCord, though. I mean, I know they played at Indiana, but is anybody saying that's a big road environment? This was, that was a fantastic road environment, and Ohio State should have lost. Yes, they should have lost that game. I will say it forever that they should have lost that game. Notre Dame should have won, but they didn't, unfortunately, for the Fighting Irish. And McCord did not play that well, but he got it done when they needed to on that last drive. But they're at home. I haven't seen enough from Drew Allar that, they're going to be able to have a great passing attack on the road because he struggled doing that in those other games against Northwestern and Illinois. If he was more experienced for this, I would say Penn State would win. But I'll go with Ohio State to win 31-28. I think it's going to be a nail-biter. I think Penn State's going to keep it close with their defense. That is good. I didn't mention the defense. Penn State does have a good defense, and they've got, NFL talent at all 3 levels of their defense. But I do think Kyle McCord being at home and the fact that he has played better, I would say, overall than Allar, especially when Allar's on the road. Even with the struggling run game, Marvin Harrison should have a big game. Even though Penn State defense is good, I think Ohio State will win a close one.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I meant to say, I know I said McCord first, but I have to say this. I meant Harrison. Harrison only had 32 yards against Notre Dame. But anyways, I just think that Ohio State will win this game because the receivers are just better than Penn State's. Like, Penn State's receivers just have trouble, like, similar to Notre Dame. Like, they have trouble getting open. I think it'll be a great game, but that's really the only thing that I see separating the two teams right now. So I'm going to go Ohio State 31, Penn State 28.
I think that might have been the exact same score.
Wait, crap. It was? Okay. Dang it. Okay,
no, you're good. You got the same score. I mean, it sounds accurate. Great minds think alike, as Jackson would say. I mean, if you want a different score, it don't matter.
Whatever. I'll keep it then if you don't just nothing.
Now, if it was at Penn State, would you pick the Nittany Lions?
I still don't trust James Franklin, okay? I'm not taking James Franklin.
So even if it was at Penn State, you would still pick Ohio State. That's funny. So it's like we're both saying a 3-point win for the Buckeyes. But if you take it on the road and it was at Penn State, we'd still be taking Ohio State. That's interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah, just because I can't trust James Franklin in close games.
I get it. I mean, like I said, I think if Drew Allar are more experienced, I would possibly pick them, and you never know. But I think Ohio State, like you said, especially the receivers are better. The other positional groups are similar, but I think Ohio State will win. It should be a great game. Hopefully, it's as close to as good of a game as Oregon-Washington was last week. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below whether you think that Penn State will get off the snide against Ohio State and be able to get a big win that could help them possibly win the Big Ten this season in college football, or whether you think that Ohio State will continue their dominance over the Penn State Nittany Lions and get another win against them this weekend, and what you think about me and WillND's pick for this big Big Ten matchup. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.